chapter 2, and by no means do I mean to, listen, everybody has a story. You know what I mean? Some people had, you know, some women have 5 kids and have to live out of their car. Okay, for some women, it's the divorce that almost killed them. For somebody else, it was a situation of abuse. For somebody else, it was they had everything they ever needed or ever wanted, but they still were empty. Everybody has a story, okay? So I don't mean to make my story is just my story. That's all, okay? It's not in comparison to anybody else's. It's just mine. It's my story. So, and I wanted to share it. So basically, chapter 2 was closing down that chapter of our lives and moving on. And basically, what happened was things got so bad with the business that I mean, there was lawsuits. It was bad. It was bad. And I remember, you know, being in my bedroom one night, just doubled over and just crying out to God, and just so just empty, just worn, just so worn and beat down. You know what I mean? You're trying to feed your children, or at that time I just had one baby, but just everything that was going on. Then you just lost your father, your business was dying. We had a whole other situation that I'm not going to get into in this video, but that had to do with us losing a lot of relationships that had been in our lives for a very long time, and those just dissipated. They just went away, and that was so difficult because you know your friends are your body, you know, that was rough, really rough. So literally at one time it was just a loss of everything. And I remember just what, you know, so these people that were pursuing us with the business and the lawsuit, I remember not knowing what to do. I got a phone call one day because we were selling the business. Got a phone call one day from a country businessman, and he was calling to he was interested in the business, and he started telling me his story, and I'm thinking, okay, do you want to buy the business or do you not want to buy the business? Like, what are we doing here? And he told me a story, and his whole story was how he got tricked out of millions of dollars. And he said, you know, the Lord told me to pray for my enemies. Pray for my enemies. And I started doing that. And don't you know, I just closed $1 million deal for such and such. And I'm giving you the short version. I hung up the phone, and it was like ding, 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 ding. And I had been so focused on us and our situation. And I said, okay, I'm going to start praying for these people that are really out to get us. I mean, you know, that are really trying to make my life a living hell. And I started doing that. And when I tell you it turned around and we got out of that situation unscathed, I don't even know how it happened, but God. I don't even know, you know, how it happened. It was not without much pain, okay, but it was something I'll never forget. I'll never forget that. We went from that situation into, so you went from the valley to really doing well. My husband, you know, went back into the technology field, you know, got a really good job. And I was an at-home mom for 5 years, because guess what? After going through all of that, and like I said, I gave you the short version. I did not give you the pain-filled, okay, 35-minute version, but it was a lot. And all I want to do is put my feet up. Hello, I wanted to put my feet up and tell anybody who wanted me to do anything to get out of my face. Like, do not ask me to do anything, because I just want to be just a bump on a log for like a good 2 years, because I was just spent. I was completely drained. I didn't have anything left. I didn't know what happened to the woman that I thought I was. You know, this career woman who's gonna, where is she? Like, I just, because tragedy has a way of breaking you down and making you forget who you really are. And that's what happened to me. I kind of forgot who I really was. So I was at home mom. And I was loving it because I just wanted to be completely disconnected and heal. I needed to heal. And we had gotten really, that's really, actually when my father was diagnosed with cancer and was told that he had probably about, I think 4 months, when they told me he had 4 months to live, we really got into, you know, juicing and organic foods and whole foods and you know, healthy living, you know, and really start. I've always loved that, you know, beauty, wellness, health, all that, but I really got into it then because, you know, my parents are from the South, so I mean, you know, my dad would eat a hot sausage sandwich at 3 o'clock in the morning, laying on the couch with mayonnaise on it. I mean, you know, so that was not what we did not want to repeat that same stuff. So anyway, while I was home, I really got into health and wellness, and that's kind of, you know, all this passion for beauty was re-stirred, you know. When I was a girl, I mean, I always loved hair, always loved hair, but I came from a family that, you know, back then people weren't starting, you know, .com businesses in their basement and creating a product and Mix Chicks this and Miss Jessie's this. It wasn't, no, it wasn't that. You went to college and you went in, you got a job. That's what you did. Starting a business was very risky. Okay, so even though I love beauty, I didn't have any kind of structure or framework to put that passion into. When I was coming up, if you love beauty, you went to cosmetology school. That wasn't my path. That wasn't something that I wanted to do. So while I was home, resting and healing, a lot of those passions just started to, you know, kind of be unearthed in me. And then I got another call that my mother had passed away. And it's just like, that one hit me. My dad was ill and was getting worse, and we had heard from the word from the doctors that it wasn't, you know, that he only had a short time. But my mother, that one was a shock. That one was something that hits you and just sucker punches you in the stomach, you know. And it's just like, so when my mom passed away, I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was due to give birth to her in 8 weeks. So when my dad died, I was going to give birth to my son in 6 weeks. When my mom died, I was due to give birth in 8 more weeks with my daughter. And I just thought, what is going on? Get in the car, drive back up north, and I put my mom in the ground. And it's just like, you know, so we did that. I'm not going to take you through all that. We did all that. And this was back to back, okay? And so, from that point on, you know, we had decided, okay, it was time for a change. We moved out to California. When we moved out to California, you know, I'm business minded. I'm an entrepreneur. All of these juices and, you know, these creative juices and this desire to want to negotiate and close deals and do business, that is in me. And so being an at-home mom was fine. I needed that, but okay, I'm bored now. And so I went back to work, and I got into sales. And I'm telling you, it was the mountaintop for me. It was, well, I wouldn't say the mountaintop. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. I was working for a residential home building company, so in real estate. So I wasn't like a Century 21 agent. I was in, you know, we'd buy land, we'd build communities, you know, and then you'd have sales teams that would sell. And so I did very, very, very well, and I loved it, and I was in my element, and I got groomed in that environment because you're around millionaires, multi-millionaires. You see how they do business. You see how they close deals. You see, you know, it was a training ground for me, and I grew like leaps and bounds during that time, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I think I got a lot of testosterone because it was like, for me, just the challenge of closing the deal, and how, you know, how many millions can we close, and it was just, it was fun. It was fun. And then the market tanked in California. The market, when I said tanked, and it wasn't like North Carolina or like, you know, here, people, we were selling houses for 1.6 million and the highest we went up to was 1.2 million. And then neighboring communities, you'd look around and 2 years later, they'd be going for 500,000 and 600,000. And people would be walking away from their homes and leaving their Range Rovers in the driveway. Like, market tanked. And so it was horrible. But during the California years, I came in contact with a lady who had a storefront selling virgin Indian hair. And in one encounter, she told me how they bought it. She told me when they bought it. She told me the difference between, I mean literally like the basics, and she schooled me. And when I mean literally the difference between, you know, cuticles lying in the same direction, cuticles not, this versus this, processed versus virgin, how we buy it, who else is buying it, you know, just, I mean, literally just in one encounter told me a lot. And I was so fascinated with everything that she shared with me. It was like from then on, I was done. I just had to know more. I had to learn more. I had to research more. And I, of course, was working working my corporate job, but this was something that was really like stoking my fire. And so I did all of that. I put in my research. I started my small company, and I started buying and selling direct from overseas, this was the Indian hair. That was years ago. I mean, this is almost 10 years ago I'm talking about. When I started, okay? I know I'm skipping around, you guys, I'm sorry. But, so buying the Indian hair, and made so many mistakes, and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Buying from the wrong vendor, wefts that were bad, hair quality that was bad, just all of those mistakes that you make when you first start, because you don't know. So, you know, it's the kind of stuff that only experience can teach you. And so we did all that. I did all that. I made all those mistakes. Bought from China when I first started. I didn't know any better. And then you look like, this isn't Indian hair. No, you bought it from China. No, it's not Indian hair. Like, hello. Okay. But I was young. I didn't know. You know, this was umpteen years ago. And so over the years, I got better. Okay, no, we're not gonna do the wefts like this. It's gonna be like this. Got better. No. I know this is process. That's not wrong. No, got better. And that's what happens. You keep doing something. You keep learning. You keep making mistakes. You know, and it's like, you know, you're buying hair. Oh, this is virgin hair? Really? Okay. So, yeah, it tore up in 2 months. It's virgin? Oh, okay. Oh, this is virgin hair I'm buying? Okay. Yeah, why is it jet black and shiny? Come on. Saturated color, yeah. Oh, this is virgin hair? Really? Yeah. Why is the curl pattern uniform from the weft all the way to the tip? Really? There's no difference in the curl pattern in the whole bundle? Yeah, okay. I mean, all of those just dumb mistakes that you make, you know, when you're starting a new business and you're learning the ropes. You know, we made all of those mistakes. And you, like I said, you get better.